terrifying at the same time.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay.
It really is. And, it's also awe-inspiring because of the technology.
Oh, yeah. No.
It's unbelievable.
Okay. Now, let me just give you the nutshell. They now have literal robots calling people for Obamacare. Okay. These are machines that are programmed to sound like a real person. Now, this coming from the administration who said that ATM machines are causing the high unemployment rate. And, he's just got to worry about all these companies that are using automation because they're causing a high unemployment rate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's using robots. Okay. Well, it's the future and fine. However, the robots have been programmed to lie. And here's what I mean. I think it was Time Magazine that had one of these robots call, and I'm going to play it for you. And you can tell by the pause that it's not a human. Okay.
Yeah, it's either a satellite telephone call.
Yeah.
Or it's not human.
Which could be. I mean, they might have farmed it out to India.
Yeah.
But it's a robot. And so the guy from Time Magazine kept calling because the robot gave a name. And you can call and ask for me. Okay, so you do. And it puts you through to this automated machine. But here's the disturbing part. It's not disturbing that they're using robots. It's not disturbing that they're using, automated systems. That's not disturbing. Welcome to, you'd think you could, if you can get the robot thing down, you'd think you could get a website that could actually take people's money. So here's what's disturbing. The guy figures this out and he asks, "Are you a robot?" The robot laughs and then says, "I am a real person." Now, it's subtle because it's really, really good. But this is the approaching singularity here. You're not going to be able to tell the difference between virtual reality and reality. You're not going to know who's real and who's not. Now, you can tell because of the series of questions. He calls back several times. We're going to play them all for you. But he calls back several times trying to trip the robot up. And he eventually does. But if you listen to the pattern, here's what I really want you to listen for. Listen how, when you're asking this question, the answer is, yes, I'm a machine. But this administration has garbage in, garbage out, has programmed it to lie. What a surprise. Listen to this conversation with Time.
Hello, how are you today?
Okay, how are you?
Good. Well, I'm calling about an online request you once made about health insurance coverage. We work with all major companies and compare all the rates for you. I can get you a quote in about 5 minutes, okay?
Are you a robot?
I am a real person. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine, but you sound like a robot.
I understand.
Right there.
Can we continue?
It's a robot. It's a robot.
Sure.
Now, so you know, this is a private health company. You're calling for health care, and you're calling for the Obamacare, and you're pushed into this. So, why won't you tell me you're a robot?
Mm-hmm.
Why won't you tell me you're a robot? All right. Listen carefully.
Are you currently on Medicare?
No. Why are the questions so personal?
We received your online application for health insurance, and if you're still looking for affordable health insurance with excellent coverage, we can give you a free quote.
Why should I give my information to you?
This is a pause.
I understand, but we do work with all carriers, and I can get you a low rate. Getting a quote will only take a minute, okay?
That wasn't the question.
You really do sound like a robot.
I am a real person. Maybe we have a bad connection. I'm sorry about that.
Listen to that.
That's really good. That's really
Listen
good.
to that. If it wasn't for the pause.
It's searching for the right answer.
Yeah,
you could tell.
It's searching. It's reading what you're saying.
Going through its algorithm, coming up with a reasonable
This is an
response.
amazing, this is
incredible
for technology. This is amazing.
It's incredible.
It's amazing. Although I don't really want to deal with robots.
No,
I really don't want to deal with robots.
I don't either.
Now, here's the thing.
And nobody who needs to get health care by January 1st wants to deal with robots.
Now, let me ask you something. When I would say that you are not going to know the difference in the coming years, you will not know the difference between reality and robotics. You won't know the difference between reality and virtual reality. There will be no difference. Here, because of the response time, but if I edited out all of the response time, you would have a really hard time telling that this wasn't a real person.
You might be a little confused because some of the responses don't fit the question.
Yeah,
but
Jay
Carney does that every day.
I know. Give this 2 years.
Oh yeah,
maybe not even 2 years.
It'll be perfected.
Do you remember when? In fact, I was okaying the production of the radio program for next year. We changed the production, the theme, and everything else every year. And I was working on the production. And this last session, I said, I want to get either some Aussies or some British people. I want the voice of the show to be British. So we go and we interview all these women over in Great Britain, like 6 of them over in Australia. And we get all this stuff in, and they do trials and everything else. And I picked them yesterday, and I'm in the car, and I play it for somebody. And I said, this is what I've selected. What do you think of this? You know what the response was?
No.
Are those real people? I said, what? I didn't know if these were the computer-generated people or not. I said, yeah, no, those are real people. And then I started thinking about it. Well, why is that an unreasonable answer? Why is that an unreasonable answer? We have, is there any way to play the tone thing that we play, Sarah? We have the system that we have for the network is all timed, so we know exactly what time, and we send tones down the satellites and everything else, and it counts everything down, and it does it for the network around the clock. If you're an insider, if you listen on the Blaze Radio, you'll hear this, and I've actually heard it come through on Sirius XM a couple of times. Here, play a little bit of what it sounds like.
45 seconds.
Okay. So you'll hear that. It'll say, 5 minutes to broadcast, 45 seconds, 15 seconds, and it sends the tones down. Well, that's not a real person. We found that voice, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that, Sarah?
Yeah, it was before I was here.
Yeah. So it had to be, how long have you been with us?
10 years.
Holy cow.
Wow.
This was one of the first times that we had ever heard a real computer-generated voice that sounded fairly real.
Mm.
That's 12 years ago. So what do they sound like now? They sound like this woman on healthcare. And they can talk to you. So when I said to you, there's a movie that is coming out. When is this movie coming out? Who is in it? Is it Ewan McGregor? There's this movie coming out. Joaquin Phoenix, yes. What is the name of it?
Her.
Yeah. And it's exactly what I said a year ago, and everybody said, that's crazy, that will never happen. Look up the movie Her. Have you seen it, Pat?
Yeah, we played the preview.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's exactly where we're headed.
He falls in love with a virtual girl, and that's because she knows his everything, every desire, and fulfills it.
Yeah.
So.
And what he buys is a program for his life and his house, basically a companion that is going to help him do everything. And she's so real and so personal, he falls in love with her. And then in the end, just like all good companies, they'll program their robotics that if they get too attached to them, the program will say, you should detach from me. You shouldn't use this program anymore. You go get a real life. You go get a real job. Every business model says that. Oh, every cocaine dealer says that. I think
you're starting to become hooked.
You're becoming.
On
you
my
have
product.
You have a problem.
I can't live with it.
I'm
addicted to this
I
drug.
really don't. I know the Minecraft people are like that with our children.
Definitely.
They feel so bad they can't sleep at night. They're like, I know these kids.
They send little messages. You've played Minecraft too long.
Much. Go out and play for a while.
Sure.
All right, we're going to play some more of this robot and time trying to catch this person. And it kills me that they are programming it to tell you a lie. It's incredible. It's Time Magazine, isn't it, that did this?
Yeah.
Trying to get this healthcare robot to admit they're a robot. Listen to this.
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm calling about an online request you once made about health insurance coverage.
Okay.
We work with all major companies and compare...
Hey, are you a robot?
What? No, I am a real person. Maybe we have a bad connection. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's crazy. Esther, you just sound so much like a robot.
I am a real person. Maybe we have a bad connection. I'm sorry about that.
Will you tell me you're not a robot? Just say I'm not a robot, please.
I am a real person.
I mean, I believe you, but will you just say I'm not a robot? It'll make me feel better to hear you say it.
There is a live person here.
But I know there is. It would just make me feel so much better to hear you say I am not a robot.
What?
If you could say the words I'm not a robot, it would really mean a lot to me.
I am a real person. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I just want to hear you say I am not a robot.
This is so great.
Yes, I'm a real person.
Right, but will you say I'm not a robot?
How are you, Enrollment Center?
That's pretty good. That
Yeah.
in the case of, okay, I'm really confused, so now I'm just going to laugh. And then maybe you'll move on to something else.
But
pretty
think
good.
about play that again. Think about somebody had to program. They knew.
Yeah.
And they wanted to make sure that you didn't think it was a robot. And so they programmed it to laugh and respond. Listen to the way this is done.
It's amazing.
It's really amazing.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. Are you currently on Medicare?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But now let me ask you a
On
question.
Medicaid or looking for Medicaid?
We'll go, you ask me a question, then I'll ask you a question. How about that?
Sure.
Okay, are you a robot?
No.
Will you say I'm not a robot?
Then she's confused. She can't do it.
Truth.